Well, I hope you learned a lot from the Gracie breakdown. I hope that not too many of you are going to go out and break your kid sister's elbow with the Americana after watching the Gracie breakdown as they dropped some science with Ed O'Neill of Married with Children, the legendary American sitcom. Today, for my rant of the day, I'm going to hit you with a little discourse about Dana White, Flyweights, headlining cards, and his attitude of not listening to the fans. Fans were booing the flyweight championship fight between Demetrius Johnson and Joseph Benavidez, at UFC 152 on Saturday, and Dana White was furious at the post-event press conference. He called those fans fucking morons and said he hopes that they never buy another pay-per-view. We don't want your money, you idiots. This is not a good business strategy, Mr. White. A lot of fans are frustrated with seeing the little guys high up on the card. I think that Dave Meltzer is right when he says that these smaller fighters would be fine early on in the card, but after seeing Brian Stann and Michael Bisping, this fight fans were second most pumped up about, they were ready for the main event of Jon Jones and Vitor Belfort and did not want to sit through 5 rounds of middling action. I mean, honestly, I was impressed with Demetrius Johnson's performance, but some analysis I've read since has pointed out some good things to me. Johnson was never in any danger, never once threatened. Well, he was in danger from a Benavidez mounted guillotine, but he never once threatened to finish the fight with any technique he did. He's strictly fighting for points. He was going for takedowns and outstriking Benavidez on the feet, but never going for the kill, never going for the knockout. And as somebody said, fighting without a finish, without even the possibility of a finish, is a pretty dull sport, and it's true. I don't much care for Dominic Cruz style, and Demetrius Johnson appears to be more of the same. I'm hoping that John Dodson can win his title eliminator coming up soon and beat Demetrius Johnson. I don't know if it can be done, but that's what I'd like to see. I like somebody like John Dodson that goes to finish fights. Benavidez, I got to give him a hats off for doing everything possible to finish the elusive Johnson, and that mounted guillotine in the 4th round was very close. But the reality is, fans don't want to see flyweights heading up cards. It's just a reality. It's something we got to deal with. Before the UFC moved Jon Jones onto the UFC 152 card, according to Dave Meltzer, they had only sold 3,000 tickets. The remaining tickets all were bought after Jones was added to the card only a couple of weeks ago. If they had not had Jon Jones and Vitor Belfort on the UFC 152 card, it could have been one of the biggest live gate disasters in UFC history, especially in Toronto, which would have been a huge PR black eye, considering that only 18 months ago they packed 55,000 fans into a stadium for their debut in Toronto. Now their 3rd trip to the market, they barely do 10,000. Dana White could barely handle the criticism they got from Toronto Sun reporter Simmons, who pointed out that they're on a declining trend, and that's just a fact, man. When you go from 55,000 people live to barely over 10,000 in your 3rd event, that's a declining trend. That's a fact. That's something that you need to accept and shouldn't be angry at reporters who point out facts. Facts are your friend. Reality is good. Dana White, I'm afraid, is in a little bit of a bubble. He's working incredibly hard. He's struggling with his Meniere's disease, which is a debilitating inner ear condition that took him out of some press conferences this Wednesday before the event. And, he's got a lot of stress. They've canceled not just the 2 events we know about. That last night they just had to cancel a Strikeforce event that was coming up this Saturday. They also had to cancel UFC 151. They also canceled an event for Indianapolis that was scheduled to go the Wednesday before the Ultimate Fighter preview. That hurt him on FX with the weak ratings because they didn't have a lead-in earlier that week to remind fans to tune in that we've got a new season of Ultimate Fighter coming on. They also had to cancel the Montreal card that was originally going to be UFC 143 earlier this year. So they've had to cancel a lot of cards and make a lot of adjustments. But if they're counting on flyweights being able to headline cards and sell pay-per-views, that is a bad idea. Please don't do it. Listen up, UFC presidents. It's not just guys on the internet. It's your fan base. It's dollars and cents trying to get your attention. Well, that's my rant of the day. I'll be back tomorrow with more Your MMA of the Day and probably another rant if there's anything to bitch, whine, or complain about, because that's what I do for a living. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow.